Have you ever noticed that certain type of person? The kind who rarely, if ever, posts photos online, no selfies, no birthday dumps, no vacation montages with airplane windows and beach sunsets. While the entire digital world screams, "Look at me." These individuals remain quiet, unbothered, almost invisible in the background. And the fascinating part, psychologists say this behavior is far from random. It reveals something deeper, something powerful, about their mindset, their confidence, and their emotional maturity. Today, we're diving into the psychology of people who choose not to put their lives on display. Not because they're antisocial, not because they're insecure, but because their inner world works differently. And honestly, it might be healthier than we think. Let us start with the most defining characteristic. People who rarely post photos place privacy above popularity. To them, privacy isn't a luxury, it's a non-negotiable priority. A boundary, a form of self-respect. They like choosing exactly how much of themselves the world gets to see. And for them, that amount is often almost nothing. They're not hiding. They're simply protecting the parts of their life that truly matter. Their family, their relationships, their goals, their inner peace. While others scramble for likes, validation, and digital applause, these individuals don't rely on public approval to feel worthy. They don't need strangers to confirm that their life is interesting, beautiful, or successful. Why? Because they've already validated themselves internally. That silence you see, that invisibility. It's not insecurity, it's quiet confidence. There is a saying among modern psychologists, some people don't post because they have nothing to prove. And that's exactly what this looks like. The second trait is deep self-awareness. People who don't constantly post photos usually have a stronger, clearer sense of identity. They know who they are, they know what they want. And just as importantly, they know what doesn't matter. Their self-concept doesn't fluctuate with filters, trends, or algorithms. They don't chase what's viral. They don't compare their lives to someone else's highlight reel. Their sense of meaning doesn't come from performance, it comes from purpose. Their happiness isn't tied to whether a photo did well, or whether someone commented with fire emojis, or whether their vacation looked good enough for strangers online. Unlike many people who unconsciously measure their self-worth through engagement metrics, these individuals measure happiness through their own actions, growth, and intentions. They live from the inside out, not the outside in. This is why they move differently. They aren't pulled by trends. They aren't pressured by aesthetics. They aren't motivated by comparison. They're grounded in something stronger, self-clarity. Another powerful insight, people who rarely upload photos aren't emotionally insecure. They're emotionally secure. They don't need external proof that they're enough. They don't need to display their achievements to feel successful. Their self-esteem comes from something stable, not from how many people saw or admired their image. Psychologists refer to this as intrinsic self-worth, the kind of confidence that doesn't fluctuate with feedback. These individuals don't chase approval. They don't measure themselves by reaction. And they don't obsess over curating an image for others. They live in the real world more than the digital one. Their goals are grounded in reality: career growth, learning, relationships, impact rather than online performance. To them, the number of likes the world gives matters far less than the number of yes moments their purpose gives. And that's rare confidence, quiet, unshakable, and often misunderstood. Now, let's explore another angle, the focus on authentic connection over digital connection. For those who rarely post, their energy isn't spent on maintaining a digital persona. It's invested in nurturing real, tangible relationships. They prioritize phone calls over comments, face-to-face conversations over DMs, and shared experiences over shared posts. Their social circle might not be broadcasted online, but it's often deeper and more meaningful. They understand a fundamental truth: a strong relationship is built on presence, not posts. They are the friends who listen without needing to document the moment, the partners who cherish a memory without needing to filter it, the family members who are fully engaged at the dinner table because their phone isn't part of the equation. This isn't a rejection of technology, but a conscious choice about where to invest their most valuable resource, their attention. Their social life is rich, it's just private. It's a life lived for the people in it, not for the people watching it. Another key trait is their mindful consumption of life itself. These individuals tend to be more present in their own experiences. When they're watching a beautiful sunset, they're actually watching the sunset, not trying to capture the perfect photo of it. When they're enjoying a meal, they're tasting the food, not arranging it for an Instagram story. This practice of being fully in the moment is a cornerstone of mindfulness. They experience life directly, not through a screen. This allows them to create memories that are richer and more deeply encoded in their minds because they weren't distracted by the pressure to perform or document. They collect moments, not pictures. They understand that the value of an experience isn't in its shareability, but in the feeling it evokes within them. This isn't to say they never take photos, but the photo is a personal souvenir, not a public announcement. It's for them, not for an audience. This habit of living unfiltered fosters a deep sense of gratitude and contentment for the life they're actually living, not just the one they're showing. And finally, let's talk about their long-term perspective. People who are less active on social media often have a stronger orientation toward the future. They aren't as caught up in the short-term dopamine hits of likes and notifications. Instead, their actions are driven by long-term goals and values. They are building a life, not just a feed. This might look like dedicating their free time to learning a new skill, reading books that expand their mind, building a business from the ground up, or investing deeply in their personal growth. They understand that real progress is often slow, unglamorous, and happens far away from the public eye. They are playing the long game. Their satisfaction comes from the process, from the incremental progress they make each day towards something meaningful. They're not concerned with appearing successful. They're concerned with being successful on their own terms. Their legacy isn't measured in their digital footprint, but in the real-world impact they create and the person they become over a lifetime. So, the next time you scroll through your feed and wonder about that person who never posts, remember this: their silence isn't emptiness. It's often a sign of a rich inner life, of quiet confidence, and of a deep connection to the real world. It's a different way of being, one that prioritizes privacy, purpose, and presence over performance and popularity. It's a quiet rebellion against the noise, and a powerful statement about what truly matters. Perhaps we can all learn something from their approach to live a little more and post a little less. There is another big difference between people who constantly post and those who don't. It's all about depth versus performance. Think about it. The people who rarely share pictures aren't trying to impress anyone. They're observing, they're thinking. They're silently absorbing the world around them. They reflect before they express. When they do speak, it's with intention. They share when something is truly meaningful to them, not just because an algorithm might reward them for it. They operate from what psychologists call an internal locus of evaluation. This is a system where their values are measured by their own standards, not by likes, comments, or public reaction. Small talk bores them. Surface-level communication just drains their energy. What they crave is meaning, authenticity, and depth. They're not looking for applause. For them, life isn't a show to be put on for others, it's an experience. And experiences are meant to be felt, not constantly documented. But perhaps the biggest reason some people avoid posting photos lies in their understanding of the modern digital illusion. They see the truth behind social media, the carefully arranged aesthetics, the curated perfection, the illusion that everyone else's life is flawless. Psychology calls this the social comparison trap. It's the habit of comparing your real, imperfect life to someone else's edited highlight reel. And people who value their mental privacy know that constantly sharing photos makes you vulnerable to being pulled right into that trap. They know the game, they see the illusion, and they choose not to participate. For them, peace is far more valuable than performance. Clarity is more valuable than crafting an online identity. Their mental space is more precious than a digital presence. They protect their mind the same way others protect their image. And that wisdom, rare and gentle, is part of what makes them so incredibly grounded. So the next time you meet someone who rarely posts pictures, don't assume they're boring. Don't assume they're just shy, and definitely don't assume they have nothing going on in their lives. The truth is often the exact opposite. They might be more grounded, more emotionally stable, more self-aware. They might even be more confident and more connected to themselves than the people broadcasting every corner of their life online. They understand something that many of us forget: being seen is optional, understanding yourself is essential. They don't need to be visible to the world, because they've already seen themselves clearly. And maybe, just maybe, That's what real confidence looks like in the modern age. If you enjoy exploring why people think, feel, and behave the way they do, hit subscribe. Here, we don't just scroll, we understand the human mind.